But they take your government money and then they give it to the private corporate cronies, which are almost always the cousins, the daughters, the sons, the wives, the husbands of the mayors, of the members of parliament, of the federal bureaucrats. So it's also a way to transfer your wealth in payoffs publicly and at least on the surface legally. But what is illegal about all of this in England and the United States is it violates due process, surveillance laws, the Magna Carta, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution. And the same thing's being done in Japan, the same thing's being done on the continent of Europe. And so they now admit with Top Secret USA, 854,000 private corporate spies. And I pointed out that the news reported 4 years ago that InfraGard has license to kill powers. That during a collapse, during an emergency, these InfraGard operators have been given shoot-to-kill orders in, quote, protection of the infrastructure. So long before the banks collapsed society by design, they had quietly created their private spy networks. They had gone in and recruited over 50,000 preachers to teach Romans 13, and with these scenarios of martial law is good, go to the FEMA camp, let them break your families up, let them take your children. Remember 5 years ago, we got those secret documents, and then 2 years later, mainstream news reported, just search the term clergy response team, that yes, for martial law, that's word for word, and they interview the preachers, and for gun confiscation, that the pastors are now secretly working for FEMA. And I've said it so many times. How creepy is that? How illegal is that? How off the charts is that information? To have corporate chiefs, local officials, private and government and corporate, pastors, all surveilling you, all spying, all on these power trips, and that there's terrorists everywhere. And then they get the federal training manuals, and the terrorists are the American people. Ron Paul supporters, people that want to abolish the Federal Reserve, people that want to kick this foreign corporate takeover out, people that want to keep their Second Amendment. Do you understand this is 100% diabolical? There is no debate. This is the greatest, most organized, scientific tyranny ever seen in history. This makes the Nazis look like a joke at organization. This makes, and you ask, how do they organize it? They're paying these people. And then you read the Cybersecurity Act, and it says millions of high school and college students, as part of their national compulsory public service. Remember Rahm Emanuel saying you will be in boot camp 3 months a year, and don't worry, all of you don't have to serve overseas. We need a civilian army just as big, just as strong as our armed services, as Obama said on the campaign trail. And it's continuing what Bush was setting up and what Clinton was setting up. This has all been going on since the time of the mid-1960s, quietly expanding, quietly acclimating you to accept military on the street, quietly acclimating you for the threat fusion centers and federalization of police. But the good news is this is so out in the open now that I was up here working pretty late last night, and about 9:30 we went to eat. And I took 4 of the guys to go eat. And there were 2 police officers eating. And when we were leaving, the police officers were leaving, and they came up and struck up a conversation. And I could tell they were being genuine. And they said, how are things going for you, Alex? They were 2 bike cops, and they were just going on duty. They were eating before they went on duty. And I said, well, it's going really bad. We're reaching more people than ever, but unfortunately it's all come true and it's really happening. And they go, no, we hear you. We know. Yeah, we know. We know this stuff's real. So, and I could tell they were genuine. They looked freaked out. And they looked intelligent. They had an intelligent bearing and demeanor. It's just so sad that this has happened, and it's so horrible what we're going to go through. I mean, you think we're living under tyranny now, folks. We've seen nothing. And the police are just there to remove wrecked cars and to stop drunks, the average cop. They're hiring private corporate mercenaries to be the physical enforcers and the technocratic, technocracy enforcers. And it's a nightmare. I mean, before they bring this country down, which we're now going into, All the financial news now admits we're in a depression, that there was no recovery. You know, they're now even dispensing with any of their previous lies on that front because people aren't buying it. And we have criminals of the Bernie Madoff / Ken Lay caliber running the system. Now, let me get into the info, the new info. You've got the background now. But let me now get into the new information, which just confirms everything we already know, and it's the public rollout of all of this tyranny. Just like they rolled out torture or preemptive war or secret arrest, just like they're rolling out arresting peaceful demonstrators in Canada, England, and the United States, and having plainclothes contractors grab you and put a bag over your head and throw you in a van in front of news cameras. They're doing it to sell you to, oh, it's just normal vans pull up and bags go over your head. So here is Forbes today. Stealthy government contractor monitors U.S. internet providers worked with WikiLeaks. And the article is tailored, total psyop. Andy Greenberg is who wrote this, to just come out and make it sound like they're heroes. And it says a semi-secret government contractor that calls itself Project Vigilant surfaced, we've covered it before, at the Defcon security conference Sunday with a series of revelations that it monitors the traffic of 12 regional internet service providers, the main hubs, hands much of the information to federal agencies, and encourages one of its volunteers, researchers, they always say that for, you know, these are spies, for a membrane between them and the government of separation, researcher Adrian Lamo, to inform the federal government about the alleged source of the controversial video of civilian deaths in Iraq leaked to whistleblower site WikiLeaks in April. And what does it say? This private group created by the NSA and headed up by the former head of the NSA, that's at the end of the article. You know, later they tell you that. It says it's tracking all of our IPs, 250 million a day, in the U.S., live time, everything you're doing. Everything you're doing, Total Information Awareness Network that I read from earlier, that the New York Times told you about, You Are a Suspect article by William Safire, November 14, 2002. And what did they report when Poindexter was told he couldn't do that? It was illegal? They went and created private groups to do it. 854,000 security clearances just in this area alone. Highest level. Totally illegal. And these are the type of people that were able to get into our YouTube account and take down the Obama deception. These are the type of people that take our videos off the front page. I mean, YouTube last year admitted that they follow the orders of Senator Lieberman's office, this was in the news, of what videos he says to take down. And it goes on. Uber says that Lamo later called him from the meeting regretting his decision to inform Manning. Oh, it's like, oh, they're sad they reported on WikiLeaks. Total baloney. I'm in a meeting with 5 guys and I didn't want to do this, Uber says. Lamo told him that at the time. Uber says he responded, you don't have any choices. You've got to do this. And so they spin it that this NSA-run private hub had to report about the crimes of WikiLeaks, and they said, I said, you're going to be thrown in jail. They're not going to throw you in jail, Uber said. Give them everything you have. As if, oh, he was spying on everybody with this NSA group, and he was worried about the fact he'd been spying, but he had to do it or he would get in trouble. WikiLeaks didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. IDG reporter Robert McMillan confirmed Uber's relationship with Lamo, who told McMillan that Mr. Uber was among a few others an instrumental voice in helping me come to my ultimate decision. So buried in this article that they write kind of like a little novel piece, like a public interest puff piece that, oh, by the way, the NSA runs this. Uber's WikiLeaks relation is one of the first public statements from a semi-secret Project Vigilant. He says the 600-person volunteer organization functions as a government contractor bringing public and private sector security efforts. Its mission is to use a variety of intelligence gathering efforts, they call themselves agents, to help the government attribute hacking incidents. Oh, sure. Bad actors do bad things. You have to prove they did it, says Uber. Attribution is the hardest problem in computer security. According to Uber, one of Project Vigilant's manifold methods for gathering intelligence includes collecting information from dozens of regional U.S. internet service providers who give it to them. Uber declined to name those ISPs, well, there's 12 hubs, but said that because the companies included provisions allowing them to share users' internet activities with third parties in their end-user license agreements, Vigilant was able to legally gather data from those internet carriers and use it to craft reports for federal agencies. A Vigilant press release says the organization tracks more than 250 million IP addresses a day and can develop portfolios on any name, screen, or name or IP address. And see, so they claim it's a private corporate thing, but it's NSA funded and run. And so it's racketeering because the government isn't allowed to do this without warrants. But they got this new legal theory that they can do it. And what does the head of Facebook call his users? Dumb effers that trust him. And he now admits just everything's given to the government. A Vigilant press release says the organization tracks more than 250 million IP addresses a day and can develop portfolios on any name, screen name, or IP address. We don't do anything illegal, says Uber. If an ISP has a EULA and let us monitor traffic, we can work with them. If they don't, we can't. And all the major, even sub-ISPs, then contract with major ISPs, and so it all runs through that. So they've designed the infrastructure of the web where you have no privacy. It's designed to surveil you. And whether that massive data gathering violates privacy, the organization says it never looks at personal identifying information. They just said name, screen name, IP address. Just how it identifies information isn't clear, nor is how it scrubs its data mining for sensitive details. ISP monitoring is just one form of intelligence that Vigilant employs, says Uber. It also gathers a variety of open source intelligence and employs numerous agents around the world. And then it goes into how they helped run the fake disinfo about Ahmadinejad stealing the election and help pump that out on the web. Uber says he's speaking publicly about Vigilant at Defcon because he wants to recruit the conference breed of young, skilled hackers. By July 2011, the organization hopes to have more than 1,300 new employees. The organization already has a few big names in its roster. According to the San Francisco Examiner article last month, its volunteer staff includes former NSA official Ira Winkler and Susan Gorman, former security chief for the New York Stock Exchange. And then they go on to talk about how this is part of InfraGard, which is over infrastructure protection. And they're given these high-level security clearances. Now, here is AFP, French news agency. Elite U.S. cyber team courts hackers to fight terrorists. Folks, this isn't 1,300 they're looking for. This is just one front group. They have literally thousands. They say they want to recruit 2 million youth a year to work for the government. That's the new economy. It's not making cars. It's not making computer chips. It's not car dealerships. It's, oh, you want jobs, young people? How about be spies? And all these TV shows where spies are glorified, and the CIA and CSI and all of this stuff, and 24. This is what you are when you grow up. This is what you're going to be, a spy for the corporate New World Order when you grow up. And they'll use these people to plant stuff on your computer, which is in the sneak and peek. They'll use this to frame you, to spoof IPs, every dirty trick in the book. And ladies and gentlemen, we've had every dirty trick in the book played against us. And it's just outrageous. I mean, it's outrageous. They are the guardians of the New World Order to help bring down the web and convert it to Internet 2.